This episode of the Bear and the Beard podcast is brought to you by, well, you.
That's right, Fandomites. We have launched a Patreon for the show, and we're asking you to be a part of it.
We are going to take out only what is necessary to keep the show going and to keep attending live events every month.
And the amount of funds still in the Patreon after that will be donated to our friends over the Children's of Mississippi.
That's right. In return for your generosity, the different tiers will receive different things: spring store discounts, exclusive bonus content, freebies at live events, and more.
So it's a win-win-win.
Shut up and take my money.
You help us keep the cost of the show down, get cool perks, and donate to a great cause.
Sounds simple enough. Join the Patreon today and stay awesome,
stay bearded, and much love.
The late, great Betty White once said in a CNN interview with Joy Behar about being called a legend, quote, "I just laugh. Have I got them fooled?" Loss is one of the most painful things in life that we struggle with, whether it be the loss of a family member, a pet, or a friend. How much that loss affects us and the level of pain we feel usually depends on how connected we were to the person, place, or thing. In this day and age, there are many of us, especially in the various nerd communities, that form special bonds with celebrities that do not need physical reciprocation or even a personal connection. We look up to them. We're inspired by them and their various works, and our lives are changed forever, even if indirectly, by their very existence. So this week, we wanted to look back on a few of those celebrities that we have lost in the past few years that meant a lot to not only us, but to their fans worldwide. So grab your tissues and make sure your emotional support pet is nearby, because it's time for Season 3, Episode 20, Lost Legends. Right after this, please stand by.
What's this?
The Bear and the Beard podcast.
Who?
Just two nerdy guys talking nerdy things with their friends and fellow fandomites.
To be fair.
They may disagree or argue sometimes, but spreading positivity and love throughout the fandoms is the goal.
All right.
It's topical.
And the categories are.
It's funny. But it's always nerdtastic.
I beg your pardon.
Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah!
Here we go.
Greetings and salutations.
What's going on, fandomites? Welcome to, for the first time, or back to the Bear the Beard podcast. I am the Bear. I'm joined, as always, by my majestically bearded, faithful co-host, Bearded Brown Guy, the Beard. Brosius Mayo, my guy.
Mayo Brosius, my dude. You guys may notice we're coming in a little quieter this episode
Yeah.
because it's a little more of a solemn episode, but we're going to try to make it more of a celebration because these people were amazing.
Yes. As we said in the intro, this is our Lost Legends episode. These are people that we feel like deserve an in memoriam. This is not a whole list of people that, have passed away in the last 3 years. That, in other words, these are the ones we really thought about, but that's not to say that every loss was not tragic. There are a few people that aren't on the list, but these are the ones we decided to talk about. Helping us create that list is our now official, unofficial, but definitely official social media sorcerer supreme, Nerd Squatch. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are y'all?
Doing good. Jay really did help round out this list with a few people that we definitely wanted to talk about. And I guess let's just start it off. This has been a tragic, couple of years, and we are going to span back a few years, just because coming out of COVID and everything. And we haven't talked about any of these people individually, except for maybe mentioning their passing in an episode or something like that. So let's start off with the one that started the idea for this episode, who we just lost recently, Mr. Kevin Conroy.
Voice of Batman extraordinaire. And man, what a loss.
Such a loss. The only actor to play Batman in voice and then live action.
Yes.
No one else that I know of has done that. Well, Adam West probably.
But he did it the other way.
Adam
He
West.
did it the other way though. He started out live action and then went animated. So, but Kevin Conroy, so sorry that he is gone. So glad that at least a few of our team members got to interact with him at Mississippi Comic-Con 2022. That was a very good year. I unfortunately did not, but
Even those of us that didn't meet him, we at least got a moment with him per se. I did get to see him. I just didn't meet him. I stood there for a second. I just couldn't stand in his line. But I did watch him for a moment and just watched how he interacted with the fans. Man, you go to cons and to a point, I get it. Most celebrities kind of rush people through, and you can kind of see that they're kind of they got to get to the next person. But he just looks so focused on whoever he was talking to. I thought that was amazing. Man, I'm not feeling any of this music I'm putting on.
You don't get in that with a lot of the actors and actresses that show up. Like you said, some of them are like, all right, next person, move along, and I can honestly say that no one I've ever interacted with at a con has ever done that to me. But
I don't think they ever really say like, "Hey, get hit in the road."
Yeah,
you can kind of tell that they're
yeah.
I've seen some bleep.
Yeah, I've seen some bleep.
Wait until February, Robert. When
Now,
it's all in like one space and the
right.
celebrities get to walk around wasted.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Pensacon's gonna be
Just
amazing.
wait.
Oh, I really. It might be a pipe dream, but I really hope I can go to that.
I want to go to Fan Expo. The Fonz is gonna be there, and Samwise Gamgee
Winkler!
announced.
Henry Winkler! I'm
It's gonna be
so
amazing.
excited. We gotta go, man.
But
hey,
yeah,
we're
losing.
giving y'all advertising. Give
Yeah.
us something.
Give us something, Fan Expo. Come on.
Sponsor us.
Kevin was actually on another podcast that's actually done by the voices of Ron and Kim from Kim Possible.
Really?
And watching the three, that was probably, I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts other than ours and some of our friends, but I watched that whole episode because it was interesting listening to them talk about voice acting and how he got into some of the stuff and the different variations he did with Bruce Wayne as opposed to Batman at first. And it's a really great episode. If you love Kevin, you want to learn a little bit about him and his time with voice acting, go watch that for sure.
Definitely. And he also he meant a lot to Jay. You had a special kind of connection there with Conroy.
Well, and that's one of those things that I don't think I even knew that he was anything other than just, like I thought he was straight for the longest time.
Right.
And when I saw that he wasn't, it was just like, it's this really cool thing that this voice that you've looked up to for ages, that you've never identified with in that way, it just gives you another reason to absolutely adore that person. And when we spoke to him in Jackson last year or this year, was it this year?
It was this year.
It was this year.
This year. I got to tell him, because it was June, I got to say Happy Pride, and it really made me feel connected to somebody, like I said, someone who was a hero forever. And I met him at Pensacon, which we were just talking about, before I even knew that. And he was still just, like Brian said, so attentive and so responsive and wanted to know what you connected with. He's just incredible.
That's amazing.
And he did a lot of cons. Like that was that was something fun he did.
His agent mentioned that that's why he was doing so many appearances as of late, was because he was aware. He knew that it was coming.
He wanted to be with his fans.
He wrote to the end. Yeah, that's
Yep.
and I remember our friends over at the Knights of the Nerds table. I think they got a cameo
Yes,
from him for
was it-
EJ's birthday.
Yeah,
I think.
EJ's birthday. Yeah,
And I remember watching that, and not only did he, of course, address EJ directly and talk to EJ in the cameo, but then he just talks about how awesome having fans was. Like, it blew him away that he sat in a recording booth for gosh knows how long, you know, being Batman, and then to go to this concert and be like, we know who you are. Like, we know who Conroy is, because that was before, you know, I guess that was really before voice actors really started getting real recognition when he started that. But then they, you know, over the years, and Conroy was just one of those. He's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. If he didn't do any recording for any of the, you know, future Batman games and stuff like that, then I guess I'll just have to hold on to the Arkham trilogy and just play through it when I want to hear him talk. So,
Is he in the Suicide Squad game?
you know, I'm not
That's
sure.
coming out?
sure.
It's in the Arkham universe. I would assume. I would hope so.
We're gonna have to do some research on that and find out for sure.
That'd be
because
kind of
so-
amazing to
That
hear
will
his
be one of
voice
the
again.
reasons I will buy that game. Yeah. So,
It's kind of like Chadwick Boseman being in What If.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
to
was
hear his
just
voice one last
fun.
time.
Which
you know,
I haven't seen Wakanda Forever yet, but I'm hoping they paid great tribute to Chadwick in that film.
100%.
Okay.
100%. I felt like the whole movie was a love letter to him, and yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
There is some controversy, and I can't tell you about it because it itself is a spoiler.
Right.
But I disagree with the controversy 100%.
Well,
I think they
But
handled
I will eventually see it. I think it's already left theaters. If it hasn't, I'll try to catch it. But if it has, it'll be on Disney Plus soon. I'll watch it. We'll talk more. at length.
I'm hoping that they would get it on Disney Plus before the holidays,
that would be
That would
awesome.
be awesome. Yeah.
because it's popular. You know, people are gonna want to watch something. I feel like that.
If not,
Disney Plus
Wakanda
give up
Forever
as a gift.
season 4. Season 4 coming at you. We're gonna talk Wakanda Forever. We're gonna talk Stranger Things. We're gonna talk everything coming out next year. Probably
yeah.
one of our first episodes in January. So, who do we want to talk about next?
I want to say one last thing about Kevin.
Okay.
Not that no one else can voice Batman, because there's plenty of amazing voice actors who have voiced Batman, but I think it is very safe to say he is the most iconic voice of Batman, and the fact that we'll never hear him do new work again is just heartbreaking. He is Batman to me.
He played
He's
Batman
to
the longest.
Batman what Mark Hamill is to the Joker.
Exactly. They
Exactly.
have both
They are
played those characters
inseparable.
the longest.
Inseparable.
Whether it be through voice, on screen, in video games, they have played those characters the longest. They are the epitome.
Yes.
Like, even Conroy did Old Man Bruce in Batman Beyond, and Mark Hamill came back to be Joker in the film that they did. It was
And they
amazing.
understand the relationship.
Yep.
They get it. That's all that matters.
It's not just that he came in and recorded some lines. He cared about the character.
Mhm.
Yes. The character was so safe in Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
It's yeah.
That's a brilliant way to put it. The
Yeah.
role itself,
Nobody
was
else.
safe in Conroy's hands for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd love
Wow.
to talk about Betty White next because I'm
Okay.
seeing Jay's shirt and it's making me think,
It's
thank you for
very-
being a
yeah.
friend.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Betty White, quite a looker. Can we just be honest?
Yeah, no,
So
straight honesty.
gorgeous. Oh my god.
I remember
Literally older than sliced bread.
Yeah,
Sliced bread is the best thing since Betty White.
I remember watching Golden Girls with my grandmother, and Rose was definitely her favorite character. She reminded me a lot of my grandmother, and not only that, but Betty White was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She actually. I love plugging this show. Dan Cummins, Time Suck, did a whole episode on Betty White. If you really want more in-depth knowledge of what she did, go and listen to that episode because it was amazing to hear how she got started. She was one of the first female talk show hosts, like the late night kind of talk shows that they used to put out. She was one of the first. She was one of the first to write comedy for a female lead. Like, she did all these amazing things long before she was on Golden Girls. Like, she was a staple in the entertainment industry before
she hit.
She was even known. Like,
everybody knew who she was before she was even more of a household name.
Mm-hmm.
There was a common thing said whenever a celebrity would die, is like, well, at least it wasn't Betty White. At least it wasn't Betty White. We still have Betty White. And when Betty White actually died, I had to look up to see if it was one of those hoaxes at first.
Yeah.
Because logically, no one's immortal, but it almost felt like Betty White was immortal. I mean, she's literally been old my entire life.
But isn't it wild? The two people that we thought were immortal, I'm just going to mention her because she did die, but the two people we thought were immortal, the Queen and Betty White, in the same year.
Fiscal year, yeah.
In
the same fiscal year. Yep.
Wild.
Do have to for all of our European listeners, we don't know what you're going through losing a monarchy. Absolutely. Or patriarchy, well, whatever. We don't know what you're going through losing a figurehead like that. But
I know not a lot about her.
Yeah.
I need to watch The Crown, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The coolest thing I know that she did was she knighted
Crown.
Sir Elton John, and she didn't care what his preferences were. She just knew that his music brought joy to the masses, so she knighted him. And that's cool. That's cool in my book. You were cool to me, Queen.
Speaking of that, some people want to give people a scapegoat for being intolerant about LGBTQ, and they'll be like, "Well, they're from a different time." But then you have a show like Golden Girls that literally showed that there's no such thing as.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part: is that one of the writer and producers of Golden Girls is Joss Whedon's father, and Joss Whedon is a slime ball. How did that happen? How did his dad be involved in such a progressive show? I don't get it.
I do have to say I liked Firefly very much.
I did too. I love what he made, but
yeah,
why did he have to?
Terrible people can make good things.
Yeah, this is true. But
artist.
My favorite thing that Betty was in of recent, and the video came out. It was a staged behind the scenes of her and Ryan Reynolds on the set of The Proposal.
Yes, and them hating each other. The feud.
Yes. Because wasn't it also in that film where she gets tackled? It's like she's playing football or something.
Yep.
With Ryan Reynolds, and she gets tackled and waylaid. And
if you're listening or watching to this right now, just pause the episode for a second and look up Ryan Reynolds versus Betty White and just watch that video real quick.
Yes,
because holy crap, it's hilarious. That's not the only time you've seen her, because she was an old lady, and yet she did tough scenes where she's built tough. There was a child show. A children's movie called Aliens in the Attic, where she actually, there's some alien tech that use a gaming controller to use the person as a fighter, and she becomes the fighter, and she whoops some freaking ass.
Yeah.
Well, people may not agree with this. I kind of dig Lake Placid. If you've ever seen that movie,
Yeah,
she's great in that.
She was in Lake Placid. It's this.
She's great in that.
or it's the suspense thriller about this giant crocodile that
Crocodile.
she has raised,
Or
like, or alligator, one of the two. But she's
It's
raised
huge,
it up
man.
from a baby.
It's like
And
Jaws.
she goes out, like, she's cursing in the film. Like, anytime anyone comes and interacts with her, she winds up getting eaten
She's
by
rough.
the thing. Like, she was rough. Wasn't she also in Grandma's Boy? Like, I think she was one of the grandmas of Grandma's Boy, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
believe
Maybe.
so. It's
Maybe
been a
that
while
would
since I
make
watched
sense.
that.
If not, she should have been. Like,
I'm on
that's-
her IMDb right now. I didn't. Oh, she's Grandma Norma in the Lorax.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Now,
You
I
know,
haven't
yeah.
watched Toy Story 4, but apparently she's a character in Toy Story 4 called Bitey White.
Bitey
Yes.
White.
Okay.
I haven't watched
There
it.
are
So.
there's
either.
4. There's 4 of them, and they're like senior citizen toys, and one of them is a parody of Betty, one's a parody of Ed Asner, and the other 2 are 2 other. It's really great. It's great.
Oh, wow. I
They're
think
like Golden Girls jokes.
I want to say
That's
she
awesome.
was. I want to say no. It might have been a different voice actor or actress. Was in Brother Bear, but I could have swore I heard Betty's voice watching that movie, but I could be wrong.
She made cameos in lots of shows.
Yeah,
like
she made
30
cameos.
Rock, The
everything.
Middle,
We
Community.
never
She played a
got Betty
professor
White
for a
in the
couple episodes.
MCU.
Ah, that is true.
Yeah,
Who would she have been?
Stan Lee's girlfriend.
In
The variant of Stan Lee that's a woman.
That would have been awesome.
And
In
that's
one
the
of our episodes-
replacement.
in our adult animation episode, we talked about how in Family Guy there's lots of celebrities who can make fun of themselves and get on there, and she was one of those celebrities. She
Yes.
voiced herself on. I can't remember the scene, but I just saw that she was on
Yeah.
Family Guy as Betty White. So
She's
Oh.
fantastic.
But Betty will surely be missed, for sure.
I just want to shout out to Leslie Jordan real quick because, my God, that broke my heart. If y'all know who that is,
Mm-mm.
do y'all remember the little sweet little elderly gay man all over TikTok?
oh, he also plays a pastor on what's that show? Raising Hope. He's in
Yes.
Raising Hope as
I
a
never watched
reverend. It's
yes,
hilarious.
and he's in Will and Grace, and he's little. He's so
He's one of those
tiny.
people I never remember by name, but Bear, if you look him up, you
Oh, I
probably
love
recognize
him
him
to
from
death.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, it broke my heart.
The
Broke my heart.
one thing I completely forgot that she was in, which is dumb because I'm actually watching through that show right now. She was in That 70s Show. She played Kitty's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't ever watch that. I probably should.
Come to think about it, I think she came back for The Ranch also and played someone's grandmother or something, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
I
wrong
don't
on that.
remember that, but she
I could be
have.
wrong on that. But yeah, she played Kitty's. I remember that. She played Kitty's mom in that 70s show.
Okay, I feel like a complete idiot. She was in Hercules. She was Hestia.
Yes. And
I am
she
a
was
dummy.
in
Really?
I am a dummy.
Hunchback of Notre Dame. She was
Okay.
one of the gargoyles in the Hunchback. Was
I
she
knew
not?
that.
Basically, think of
Yeah.
something Betty White was in it.
Yeah. And again, the most brilliant thing is that she didn't do any of this that we know about until she had already established herself as a legend.
Yep.
Like she just
Everything I'm
continued to
naming
be
is like after
legendary.
she's legendary Betty White.
Yeah. It's
She
amazing.
wrapped up a show about being elderly, the Golden Girls, before I
Mhm.
was even born.
And she was the last surviving Golden Girl.
Yep.
So
Dorothy was my favorite, but I love Betty White.
Oh,
Love Betty.
Dorothy.
well,
I have a Golden Girls tattoo. I love them.
do you?
I do,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. I think I
right
for
here.
some reason don't think I knew that.
It's pretty abstract. It's one line, but it's shaped like their faces. It's really cool.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool.
When we were talking about Toy Story 4, you mentioned someone else on our list, Ed Asner.
Ed Asner.
Yes. The
He's
legend.
another guy I never remember by name, but as soon as I see his face, I'm like, Santa Claus!
Yeah.
I
Elf.
know him!
Santa
I
Claus and
know
Elf.
him!
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that you just
Yep.
you expect. Okay.
He did.
I want him to be my grandpa.
So he was in Disney heavily. He did Up. I'm sure he did the voice for some other Disney characters. I'm sure. Didn't you say, Brian, that you found out he was in Cobra Kai?
Yes. So I don't know how I missed this. I was Googling what stuff he's been in, and the first thing that popped up was Cobra Kai. And I love Cobra Kai. I'm like, he wasn't in Cobra Kai. I'd recognize Santa Claus in Cobra Kai. What are you talking about? He was Johnny Lawrence's stepfather.
Oh, that's awesome.
And now that I saw it, I picture it back and I remember it. He played an asshole, which language, but
yeah,
he was good at playing a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh,
He got really good at that later in his life too, because I remember I've been watching back through like old Criminal Minds episodes and Blue Bloods and stuff like that.
He was a villain in something else.
Yeah, he played Hotch's father-in-law in like one episode of Criminal Minds. I can't even remember which season it was, but he played that role of just because in the story, spoiler alert, for anyone, like Hotch's wife gets killed in one of the seasons, and then later on Ed shows up as the father-in-law, and he's just like, I'll never forgive you for letting my daughter die. And he's just playing that brute, honest a-hole of a guy, and it was actually quite well done. Quite well done.
Looking up his IMDb so we don't forget something he was in.
He also was the original voice actor that played Granny Goodness in the Justice League animated series.
I see him every single year when I watch Elf. I haven't watched Elf this Christmas season yet.
I'm gonna watch it.
I have to make sure.
Oh, he is in something else Disney that just came out. Now, I'm not a big fan of this stuff, but he's in Diary of the Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules, that just came out on Disney Plus. As Grandpa Heffley.
Wow.
See, I always used to get Ed and Danny DeVito confused. And I always just thought that Ed was actually Danny DeVito's dad. So
Ed DeVito.
3 episodes of Cobra Kai. He was in Grace and Frankie.
That's another good show. Mama Bear definitely highly recommends.
He was in Blue Bloods. I never got into that show, but
he was in one episode, if I remember. He played one of Frank Reagan's old friends from the past, kind of thing. Wheelchair bound, ornery, that kind of character. I mean, he started out on the Mary Tyler Moore Show as well. Him and Betty White worked together on that show specifically.
Often.
4 episodes of American Dad. He was a narrator, Mailbox Number 2, and Grandpa Smith.
He had to have been in the Golden Girls at least once.
Had to have been.
How much Christmas stuff was he in? He was also Santa in Santa Stole Our Dog, A Merry Doggone Christmas. I'd never seen that.
Santa
but
in Rudolph? Wasn't he Santa back then too?
Was he?
That voice doesn't match up, but I could be wrong. He could have been.
But he was younger.
Yeah, that's true.
We're talking about him being cranky old characters. He was Angry Old Timer in SpongeBob in 2016. That's all it's listed as. Angry Old Timer. Man, I'm scrolling. I got to tell you guys, I've been scrolling down this IMDb list, and for a while, and I'm only down to 2014.
Yeah, he was another living legend. I mean, really, he was born what? So that's 7 years after Betty White died the same year, and so he was around.
Trying to scroll down to the bottom. Looks like the first thing he's credited for is a juror in the 3rd act of Studio One in 1957.
Wow. That's a long career.
That is a long
Hopefully we can still be podcasting when we're Ed Asner's age.
I will.
I'll keep doing it.
I won't stop. We might have less episodes then if we're starting to get dementia, but
Or we might just talk about we might repeat episodes where it's like, hey, Brian, you remember that movie that came out back in 2021? I think it was called She-Hulk. We're gonna talk about that because that was amazing.
we've never talked about that.
Season 55? I hope so.
I'm joined by my faithfully kind of gray bearded co-host, Bearded Brian guy.
Brian the Gray. Brian the Gray.
I'll tell you what, if I still have a full beard when I'm old and it starts turning white, if not, I'll dye it white if it turns
You
gray.
gotta be Santa.
I want to be a Santa. I want to be a Santa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll buy the costume for that. Don't play with me.
You could do it. You could do
So-
it in a few years. In like 20 years.
I
Yeah.
could, yeah. I'm gonna cut the music for a second because
He doesn't have to look old as long as he's just got that feeling.
Yep.
The
gotta
next
feel
one
like him.
the next one I want to get to, unless you guys have more to talk about by Ed Nasner, I don't want to move
No,
on.
No.
Ed will be missed.
Ed
He
will be
will
missed.
definitely be missed.
Absolutely.
I'll have to catch up on some of his older stuff.
This one's a really sad thing because it's very recent. Jason David Frank.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, man.
That
He-
one, I'm not a huge Power Rangers fan, but just the circumstances
neither.
around it, knowing
Yeah.
how important he was to you.
Okay, if any other Power Rangers listen to our show, not that I think y'all do, but if you do, please don't take this the wrong way. But Jason David Frank was the Power Ranger. And I say that because he played a role in the whole thing that is Power Rangers the longest. He didn't show up for a season, be a ranger, and then leave, and then come back for a special reunion thing.
Right.
He played five different Rangers, all of them Tommy Oliver. He started out as the Green Ranger, the first evil Ranger we ever encounter. That he then became the White Ranger, led the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for a time. Then he went to being the Red Zeo Ranger, led the Zeo Rangers, went to be the Red Turbo Ranger right after Zeo. He also was the leader in both of the live action films that came out, Mighty Morphin and Turbo. And then he went into a hiatus. He didn't play any Rangers, came back for Dino Thunder as Dr. Tommy Oliver, and was the mentor to the Dino Thunder Rangers, along with being the Black Ranger at the time. So, yeah, and he was in the middle of filming when he passed, or it was in editing, I can't remember. Legend of the White Dragon, which when it does come out, I'm gonna see it somehow, some way.
Wow.
And his loss, losing him, hit home because, well, Power Rangers was a big thing for me, obviously.
When you met him.
I've met him. He's on my wall right there. In his
Yeah.
Green Ranger.
That was that was what I was getting ready to say. Was I'm not a Power Rangers fan, but as a convention person
mhm.
who travels and goes state to state to these things, he was constant. And a lot of people I know, and and I am admittedly someone who used to hold the belief that maybe he was doing it for the money, but then I realized that no, he just loved all of us so
Mhm.
much. Even if you didn't know what he did, his energy was just, that's what I'm gonna miss.
Yeah.
Is walking past his table and just seeing him and how he interacted with people.
It's morphin time,
The dude was a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, like, in a very niche community that I'm not a part of, I still regard him as one of the cultural icons of my and
Mhm.
a few generations above me. Because that stuff shaped so many of us.
And it's funny that you bring up how much he conned, because not only did he con, he personally took it upon himself during COVID to tour around to different comic book stores. And that's where I met him.
Wow.
I
Okay.
met him at a comic book store down in Ocean Springs, I think it was. He
Where?
called it the Power Ranger Protection Tour.
Oh, Three Alarm in the Iberville.
Yes, in D'Albertville, that's where it was.
I love that
Yep.
store.
He
Shout out.
took it
They're
upon
the
himself.
bomb.
Yeah, they are. 3 Alarm, y'all
I
are
live
awesome.
very close. I adore them.
He took it upon himself to go and raise money for these comic book stores that he knew were going through a hard time. He tried to get other Rangers involved, and nothing against those other Rangers. They just, none of them ever signed on to help, and that's fine, because it was his passion project. He
made
went
it
to these
happen.
stores and he was like, even if just me showing up increases your sales for that one day, then I feel like I've done my part.
Yep.
And he would leave them stuff. He would leave them signed merch, not just posters. He had like the Green Ranger dagger and the White Ranger's other dagger, Saba, and
I
like
swear they
other
still have
Power
one.
Rangers merch. Yeah,
I swear they still have one that people just haven't bought.
yeah. And he'd leave it for free. He wouldn't charge the stores.
You had a good experience with him, though, Bear.
Yeah, I did. I got to meet him. He actually asked, and I don't have my hat on. You have our hat on, but I was wearing my gray hat when I met him, and he asked me what the logo on my hat was, and I told him, I was like, it's for my podcast. We talk nerdy stuff, and he's like, I want you to give me your number and email. I want to be on your show when I'm done doing the press tour for White Dragon. And I was just like, and I immediately, I think, like, after that, I called you and was like, I don't know if you're a Power Rangers fan, but I need you to be as excited about this as I am. Jason David Frank wants to be on our podcast. And
Oh
you were
my
like,
god, that would have been incredible.
yeah. And you were like, I have heard the name. I'm
not a Power Rangers guy,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I saw the pure excitement in your face. I saw that a childhood hero of yours is like, hey, that podcast you have, yeah, I'll be on that. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
We
he's just a down to earth guy.
Yeah, we had even talked about, like, you had come up with things I didn't know about, like the fact that he opened his first dojo when he was like 20, I think. Like,
He's also big into motorcycles.
Huge into motorcycles.
If you look on his
Yeah.
TikTok, he makes a lot of videos with those.
he did an MMA stint too. Like, he was in MMA, mixed martial arts fighting, and the fact that he sold his comic book collection to buy his first dojo, which that tells me either he had a lot of comic books or he had some bangers in that collection to be able to afford to buy his first dojo. Either way, that's amazing. And that means he was a nerd just like us. And that's it.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that because I was like, I can't really talk much about Power Rangers with him, but if he was on, I wanted to just talk nerdy with him.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I could have just asked him, like, on camera, like, what's your favorite superhero from DC and Marvel? And please let one of them be Captain America, because
I do have one more point to make about your take on him being the Power Ranger. Stan Lee himself you can look this up on YouTube. I'm not just pulling this out of my. Stan Lee himself says that is his favorite Power Ranger.
Yep.
That's
I remember
awesome.
seeing that video. It was so good. So good. Now, oh man. Now I really wish we could have gotten him in the MCU. Oh man.
Dude.
Like, I don't know who he would have played, but I would have been happy about it no matter what.
Iron Fist.
Yes! Oh!
That's a good idea.
That's perfect dream casting right there. And now it makes me sad that it'll never happen.
I
Oh no.
I really like Louis Tan for Iron Fist, but Jason David Frank is just like,
He would have made a
Come on,
perfect
man.
Danny Rand.
come on, man.
Yeah. No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
Green Ranger.
He could
you
have
will be
pulled off
missed.
a suit so well. You kidding me?
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
man,
that would have been great.
you will be missed.
you will be missed, JDF.
Uh,
For sure. Oh man,
it blew my mind.
I'm gonna cry now. that's such good casting, and I never thought of that. That's amazing.
So,
Ah,
the next person on our list, the next two people I don't know much about, but I'm really interested. This guy looks like someone I should know who he is. Jay, would you like to talk about
Oh,
yeah, you're gonna have to pronounce that last name.
okay.
Sondheim?
Sondheim?
So, this is Stephen Sondheim, who is literally when I talk about Broadway and everything I love about musical theater, it's him. He's painted all across it. Company is currently, or just closed, or is currently on Broadway. He's had like 5 or 6 showing at the same time. Like, he did Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods. That more of the mainstream stuff is his. Yeah. And he was just like Kevin Conroy. He was a gay man openly, and had a partner that he left behind, and the whole community the theater community was just so shaken when it happened, because we weren't expecting it. We just thought he was kind of like our Betty White. We kind of thought he was going to be around forever. His name he was working on something when he died. It's just one of those things. And
Now, when you say he did these productions, like, did he direct them? Did he write them?
He wrote the
what
music.
aspect? Okay.
He's the music. Yes.
Okay.
And we all love music. I mean, music brings everything to life.
So
And I gotta say, I didn't know who he is, but I have to say he has a very warm look to him. Like,
yes, he does.
He was very kind of, I never met him, but the vibe that somebody gives off, even in interviews, just funny. It's just someone you'd want to be around. And he kind of felt like, I think, to all of us, and I guess I'm gonna cry, I don't know. He felt like our father in some regard, because we found ourselves in something he wrote. Into the Woods, no one is alone. And something that I remember saying when I listened to the song when he passed, and I just bawled. But sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood, and that's kind of how we felt.
Yeah.
Like, how are we supposed to continue?
And that
And
really,
it's not the same.
no, it's not, and
The
it never will
industry
be.
right now is terrible, and things are closing left and right, and I'm scared. I don't know. I'm getting really emotional.
Well, and that was also one aspect that I really started thinking about, and I don't know if I put it in the intro or not, because I haven't written the intro for this episode. But if you get this far, and I did mention it, then you're hearing it again. But the fact that all of these people that we've talked about today were in some form or fashion of entertainment that helped us learn at whatever age we interacted with them how to deal with loss. Like the Power Rangers, though they might not be blood and gore and all that, because it was a very kid-friendly show, they still taught us how to say goodbye to our friends as each of the Rangers went off to do other things. Jason David Frank didn't, and he, his character dealt with a lot of that loss of friends. Now they didn't pass away, but for a kid, that's how you start to learn. And then Betty White,
Yep.
same thing. She was in several different things that they tackle all the gambit of topics, you know,
That
one of
episode
which
of the Golden Girls,
Yeah.
where she asks them, "What happens when there's only one of us?"
Yeah.
And not all of my life, but as long as I knew consciously who they were, she was the only one.
Yep.
And then no more.
Yeah, and Conroy's Batman taught us how to deal with loss. I mean, it's Batman. It's
Batman
his,
has all
his
the
whole
loss.
thing is loss. Ed Asner did a whole movie about loss. It's called Up. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it.
Man,
It's one of the saddest Disney.
I
Pixar
honestly
films
believe
ever.
that Disney movie made me cry than any Disney
Yeah.
movie ever.
Same. I still cry when I watch it. It's every
People-
one of these people taught us how to deal with loss in their own way, whether it was in something they did or just who they were as people, but they were so warm about it. It was amazing.
There's a song by my favorite band, AJR, called Netflix Trip, where they basically show the course of a life happening during the show The Office happening. And the brothers of AJR, they really love the show The Office. But this carries over into any show, any kind of music, any kind of media. At the end of the song, they say a line, "Don't you dare tell me that this is just a show." Because these shows not only show us parts of ourselves, not only get us through hard times, teach us more about the world. If we're having a rough day, I mean, if I'm having a really rough, depressive day, if I can find something amazing just to watch on TV that can
Or
bring
to
me some
listen
joy,
to.
some music to listen to, that can help my mood tremendously. This stuff isn't just a show. It's not just a song. It's not just a movie. This is a way that for humankind forever has dealt with life. I mean, even before technology exists, we've always had some kind of media, whether it's theater, whatever it is, orchestras. There's always been that escape into entertainment. It's not just a silly thing that doesn't matter. It matters.
It's art.
I know
art.
people that would be lost without like the fact of Broadway's influence. Like not Broadway specifically, but the fact that Broadway became a thing means that schools have drama departments where the isolated individuals can go and feel welcome and pretend to be someone else.
How many kids are saved from being so alone because of drama clubs?
Mm-hmm.
Or how many people...
Choir.
I mean, how many people go to a show and it completely rocked their worldview? Movies can tell you something, but I just firmly believe that live theater can hit you right in your center. Because everything is put into it.
Yep.
It's just, you know...
It's amazing.
I think I'm getting really... I don't want to make this about myself because I know it's an in memoriam.
No.
But I think part of me is getting
we're
really
part of our
emotional
lives.
because I just landed a very, very important role in a play down here.
Congratulations
And, you know,
again. That's
Yes,
Thank
we're very happy
thank you.
for you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Your costume work
thinking
on Christmas
about-
Carol was amazing.
Thank you. And thinking about these people that I wouldn't be doing these things without. Like,
The world would be a dark, dark place if we didn't have entertainment.
Yep. The
any
reason
form of it.
Yeah, the
Any
reason
form of it.
I'm a singer now, like I mean, I'm not like a professional. I'm not in a band or anything, but
Right.
I host karaoke for Dogmud now, and the only reason I got into that was because I enjoyed singing. I enjoyed singing because the first school that I went to that I actually got involved with choir was Clinton Junior High in Clinton, Mississippi. And the first production we worked on was a smattering of Broadway pieces. We did a song or two songs from Lion King, two songs from Grease, 2 songs from Phantom of the Opera, and
Love Phantom of the
like
Opera.
3 songs from Les Miserables. And it was all the Broadway music that we did. And so when we got out there and started singing these songs, like I still remember you. Can you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? You know, that stuck with me all these years. I've never watched the film Les Miserables. I've never watched the Broadway production or any production,
Robert,
but I know that song.
It will rip you to pieces.
Yeah.
It is gut wrenching. And that's another thing about theater that movies don't always have the guts to do. Musicals can absolutely ruin your day.
Yep.
They hurt.
Greatest
musicals-
Showman shows up on my iPhone shuffle playlist, and
The Greatest Showman.
I have
fantastic.
to skip a few of the songs. I'm like, oh nope.
I gotta say,
can't
yeah,
listen to that right now.
honestly, musicals, I think, now I haven't seen a whole lot of live musicals, but musicals in movies, I think they've made me cry than any other movie.
Yep.
And the only plays I've seen is The Lion King, and then I saw a college performance of The Phantom of the Opera, and I had to say, if Broadway level is like that much better than what this college did for it, the actual Broadway would blow me away, because the college performance blew me away.
We're gonna have to get up to, like, we're gonna have to do like a road trip for all of us on the team and go up to New York and catch a Broadway play.
I would love nothing more than for all of us to catch a Broadway play together.
That would be awesome. We'll go to New York and see the sights and go and catch a Broadway play. I think that'd be awesome. Oh man, this
it got emotional.
It got
but,
emotional.
I mean, it's a memoriam, so
yeah,
that's expected.
And again,
there's so many more people that we want to talk about too, but it's
because we didn't just lose these legends, we lost others. We lost the actor that plays Rubius Hagrid. I cannot remember his name for the life of me, and I feel bad as a fan for not knowing his name.
Rupert. So I'm terrible at his name, but yeah.
Yeah, but we lost him this year. And
I gotta say that's the only role I know him as, but I loved Hagrid as a kid.
But and then I order a Rubius Hagrid every time I go to Dogwood.
Oh my god, yes, Robbie Coltrane.
We have a friend of ours, Kevin, that dresses as Hagrid, and I hope he continues to do so.
Kevin.
So, but I know there's a lot of people we lost. These are the legends we decided, we decided to kind of put into this episode, and man, it got emotional quick, like for real. I knew it would. I
didn't mean to do that.
No, you're fine.
No, it was gonna get that way anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't break down over Conroy, to be honest. Like it took JDF coming up on the screen and just me going, yeah, now even when his movie comes out, he won't be around to see it, and that's so sad. But that is, as they have all taught us in their own way, life. And hopefully you have taken, listener or viewer, something from this episode. It was very emotional, very packed. Hopefully we educated you on some things that you didn't know some of these people were in. You should go and check that out. Definitely check that out. And I guess let's do a Talking Nerdy segment. Let's do that to kind of round out this episode. Here, I'll play the intro music. Clickety click.
Hello, can you hear me?
Each episode, the Bear and the Beard ask a question that they want your input on, along with sharing comments, suggestions, and other things they have already collected. They love to hear from their fans, so let's get nerdy with it.
All right. So,
we had any comments on our last
we did. We had one comment on that I know.
Oh yeah, Greg.
Great.
So last week was, what is your favorite Sigourney Weaver role?
Yes.
And our friend Greg says, I have two, Dana Barrett in Ghostbusters and Ripley in the Alien movies.
Yes.
I was
Ripley.
so mad when I love Dr. Augustine. I love Avatar. I love that movie. I'm so excited for the sequel. But I'm so mad that I didn't think about Dana Barrett because Ghostbusters is like one of my favorite things. But yeah,
I love seeing her as a jerk, so I picked Holes, the warden. Man, I
that
hated her.
and Defenders.
That was mine. Yeah, the bad guy in Defenders.
Defender.
We also had a very unique comment from Robbie over on our She-Hulk episode. Robbie says, "You said that you need some goons, and I was just wondering what the starting pay will be because I might be interested." Laugh out loud. To which I responded, and I'll tell any of you else that were interested in that role. We here at the Bear of the Beard are always looking for eager individuals to fill vital roles like goons, scapegoats, etc. Unfortunately, since we're still technically a nonprofit, we are really looking for henchmen that believe in the work and don't care so much for the pay. So that is our official statement on anyone
everybody likes
Come be
to
a
say.
henchman.
come
Except
be
I
a
really
henchman.
mean
Believe in our message. There was also another comment. I can't find it right now. Another one of our friends commented on our gamer episode about how they started out with Atari. Pong was one of their first games, got them into gaming. So that's awesome. And for this week, just to kind of get you ready for the Christmas spirit, I guess, I have some photos that I took at Dogmud for our Game of Thrones night. And then I also have some photos that my kids took with Santa Claus. So I'm going to put those in here to kind of chipper up the end of the episode here. So yeah. And yeah. And
we should
I
have
guess
taken a picture with Scrooge, Robert.
I should have.
We should have taken a picture
So-
with Andy. I'm so mad.
What's our talking nerdy question this
Our
week?
talking nerdy question this week is going to be to get us ready for next week's episode that's going to come out on Christmas Day. It's going to be, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
That's a good one.
We're gonna ask what's your favorite Christmas movie, because that's what we're gonna talk about for our next episode. As I said, it is coming out on Christmas. It's gonna be a few of our favorite Christmas things. We're gonna talk about TV show specials that we remember, presents that we
Muppet
received
Christmas
that we remember. That is my favorite Christmas Carol.
Christmas story.
The
We watched,
best line.
We watched the Jim Carrey one the other day, and all I could
I
think the
love
whole
that
time
one.
was, I was like, didn't the Muppets do this a little different? You know, so
I
it was
think-
very cool.
I think if you want a serious and droll yet accurate version, you can watch the Jim Carrey one.
Yes.
But if you want a Christmas Carol that is note for note the story, but that you can laugh at and smile,
Yeah.
there's that. But I have to say, and you can attest this because you saw my costumes for our production, I'm a firm believer that Dickens wanted it to be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
kind of partial to the Jim Carrey one. I like the one, I kind of sort of like the one with Guy Pearce too. It's okay.
Isn't there
but
one with
it's
Bill
spooky.
Murray?
Scrooged is amazing. Scrooged
Okay,
is
because that's
so
what I
good.
remember.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yes.
But
I
we're
love
going to talk
Scrooge.
about all those favorite foods, favorite candies, favorite presents that we got that we can remember as when we were kids, just everything. Favorite Christmas songs.
special!
It's just a Christmas special, so
Oh my
Uh,
god.
Memory of Santas.
yeah,
I'm so
our
mad. I
favorite
was thinking
Santa
of Cosmo the
portrayals.
Space Dog.
Yes, Cosmo the
I want
Space.
Cosmo the Space Dog on my show.
I'm gonna have to find a clip of him from the special where it's just
We
like,
love you, Kevin Bacon.
yeah, we love you, Kevin Bacon.
Oh, she's so
It was
perfect.
such an awesome Christmas special that they put out.
I refuse to willingly work while you demean me. Oh, I love her.
But we will definitely be talking Christmas stuff, so we want to hear from you. What's your favorite Christmas thing? It could be your favorite Christmas food. It could be your favorite present that you ever got. It could be your favorite Christmas anything. I will tell you right now, my favorite Santa Claus portrayal is still Miracle on 34th Street. I don't know why. It just is. Even though I haven't watched the movie in forever. And my favorite song for Christmas is White Christmas by Bing Crosby. So
I
Let
won't
me
get
tell
into
you.
I won't get into why it's ironic, but my favorite portrayal of Santa Claus is Tim Allen. And that's ironic.
Let me tell you something.
fair enough.
I saw Violent Night.
I want to watch that. David
haven't seen
Harbour
that
is
yet.
amazing, and I want to see that so
It is
bad.
so good. I mean, most of those movies are like popcorn movies that you just sit and you go to watch. And this one is rough. Like when I talk about gore, it is like gory. But it is so much fun and has such a great heart at the center of it. And David Harbour is absolutely legendary. It was so good.
much more hyped. I already wanted to see the movie really, really, really bad, and now I'm just sad I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
This
You
isn't
hyped
even
it up
Chris-
even more.
This isn't even Christmas related, but I have to talk about this because I am so excited about it, and I can't wait to do an episode on it because I love talking about them. But have you seen the trailer for Transformers, the new one?
Yes, because I have said this is my common thing that I go on saying. If you told me a few months ago, Brian, you're going to be excited about a new Transformers movie, I told you no.
Exactly.
I'm not. I haven't watched the last 2 or 3 of them.
We
I
did a
don't
whole
care about
episode
new
about how
Transformers
Michael Bay
stuff.
should have stayed away from Transformers, and now we're
Look,
excited for a
I'm
Transformers.
hyped.
I'm not gonna talk about a lot of it here because I don't want to get into spoilers. But he's briefly in the trailer as a car, but the toy for Wheeljack leaked today, and it really disappointed me.
I still have
So
the Wheeljack. I have the original
I'll
Wheeljack.
just shoot pictures your way, but it really
Yes.
let me down. But I do have to say that I'm so obsessed with RC, and I cannot wait.
Yes.
She looks so great. Oh my god.
I have 2 words: Anthony
What?
Ramos.
Oh.
Anthony Ramos.
Yes.
Anthony Ramos and Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson is playing Mirage, everybody.
I
Oh
love
my god.
We will definitely have a Transformers episode coming out season 4, whether it's on that movie or just our love of Transformers, whichever. I
Also
have a
Michelle
collection to
Yeoh.
show you all. So,
I love Michelle Yeoh. She's a powerhouse.
but that is going to take us out of our Talking Nerdy segment. So send those in so those can be on our Christmas episode. Your favorite Christmas things, everybody.
Be sure to send in your response to this week's Talk Nerdy topic, and any other nerdy stuff like episode topic suggestions, fan theories, or cosplay photos so we can put it in future episodes. If you think it's nerdy, we want you to share it. The Talk Nerdy links like the email and website are in the episode description as always. And don't forget you can also call or text the Nerd Line. That number is in the description as well. That's all for now. Let's get back to the show.
Not much of a show to get back to. That's going to wrap it up for us. Again, we want to thank you for taking this emotional journey with us in an in memoriam style for all of these great legends that we lost, whether it be this year, last year, years previous. But
I just wanted to say rest in peace to all these legends.
yeah, I think that's pretty much sums it up right there. And in memoriam, we'll put their photos and maybe a few other honorable mentions on the screen before our actual outro. I guess kind of like the Oscars do, in a way. I'll find a nice sad song. Maybe we can get some tears out of some viewers. So, and in the meantime, we're gonna get out of here. I've been the Bear,
I've been the Beard.
I've been Nerd Squatch.
and we want to remind you, as always, fandomites, to stay awesome
Stay bearded.
and
And
much love. We'll see you next episode for our Christmas episode. Until then, we are out of here.
My mother has the most wonderful approach to death. She always, even growing up, she said, well, we know so many things. We know almost everything in the world, but we don't know what happens at that moment. A lot of people think they do, but they don't. She said, so whenever we'd lose somebody, she'd say, now he knows the secret.
Oh.
And now she knows the secret.
That's a nice way to put it, I think. Do you believe in a life after death?
I'd like to think so. It would be interesting, if providing that I'd earned the privilege of choosing what I do.
Where you're going.
Yes, yes.
There's that first moment, you know, the first flush, the falling in love, and then you got to let it cook and see if you're still in love in the morning, because it's a form of showing off. But it's also a form of sharing. You want to say, hey, I caught this moment with people, but it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It's what everybody who writes or paints or composes feels, or else they wouldn't go on with it. If you didn't get those moments, you couldn't put up with the rest of it, the loneliness and the tedium and the endless amounts of work, you know, the sweat.
Somebody who lost the most important thing in his life, who was not a party goer to begin with, though he's in the balloon business, and can only envision being freed with the sting of death so he could join his wife wherever she might be, who had a great love and lost it. And then circumstance, he makes an omelet out of the broken eggs he's given.
Lines that I loved most are the ones that reveal the soul of Batman, because he's such a dark character, and it's all about the pain that resides in him.
This whole thing really hasn't changed me. I mean, I just get recognized now, you know, by kids and stuff. It's great to be able to be a positive role model on kids.
I'm Jason David Frank, and I play Tommy the White Ranger.
The legacy of the movies is that my children's generation will show them to their children. So you could be watching it in 50 years' time. Easy. I'll not be here, sadly, but...
Don't you think on it for 1 minute.
But Haggard will. Yes.
Boom, cut the check.
That was totally wicked!
Thanks for checking out another episode. We hope you enjoyed it. New episodes are released every other Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Check back then or subscribe so that your device downloads it automatically. Audio episodes are available pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, so it's really easy to share them with all your nerdy friends. For YouTube viewers, subscribe and click the little bell so you're notified about all our new content. Links to talk nerdy to us can be found in the episode description as always. You can chat with the bear, the beard, or the rest of the Bearded Bear team, head researcher and graphic designer, Mama Bear, the social media sorcerer, Nerd Squatch, the master of marketing, Han Bralo, the master merch fabricator Tyler the Great, or any of our public liaisons, Mama Kim, Katie Cat, or JB. Huge thanks to them, the geeks of the round table, and all our awesome friends of the cast. Much love y'all. Lastly, for more cool music like this awesome outro track, go check out Harlequin Soul, Secret Apex on Facebook and Spotify. His links are in the description as well. Talk at you next episode, nerds. See you then. Welcome to the end. Are you a fan or just pretend?